Hey guys, what's up? I am here to give you guys a recap on the new episode of Shokugeki no Souma, Shin no Sara, or you could call it Food Wars, the fourth plate on episode 6. Now, this episode right here shows the episode between Souma and Saito Some. So, this is gonna be one hell of a crazy. This was one hell of a crazy episode. Never thought they'd manage to bash it all into one, and we get to see that nice reference, man. Oh, man. Those of you guys who watched the episode, you'll get the idea. So, if anything else, let's just get this started. We add to it that Souma and Saito Some begins their match against each other. And of course, we get to see a scene where Some ends up cutting up oranges, and he ends up juicing them up. And not to mention, we get to see Souma using mochi, and it's Kiramochi pack, and he decides to throw some chopped up Kiramochi into a pot of heated soy milk, stir it up, and once it all melted, he added some pepper and salt to make my imitation white sauce, you know? And we see to it that one of the judges says, yeah, usually white sauce is made by heating butter and flour into a rocks, then diluting it into a thick sauce with milk. And of course, the other judge ends up asking, wouldn't you usually try to use butter in it since it's the theme? But the other judge says, we're about to find out, see what they're capable of, you know? And we see to it that one of the judges on the green hair girl says, wow, Yukihira-san is sauteing chicken, onion, shrimp, and rice, you know? While Some is letting the garlic's aroma settle in for a moment in his meat dishes, and then throwing in some soy sauce, squid, and squid liver, and heightening the wonderful aroma of the sea, you know, coming from the seafood with the rich scent of the butter. Of course, Some is looking at Yukihira and thinking in his mind he must be having some kind of ideal plan, but I don't even know what it is, but I'm about to find out. We see to it that Kuga and Nene ends up having some insults towards each other, and it was actually pretty funny. It's like, Kuga says, oh, what are you doing here? You got your butt handed by Yukihira Souma, huh? You're so mentally weak. But Nene's like, look, I'm not the guy who went 2-on-1 against Tsukahasa-senpai and lost, okay? That's even hurting even more, and they were about to go at each other's throats. And I think in my mind, dude, this is so cute. It's like a freaking, too adorable. It's like two freaking siblings going at each other's throats of who got it worse, you know, or that must burn real bad. Okay, enough of me going on. Let's continue the match. We see to it that Saito Some ends up showing his dish right now, and Kyukiba Ro ends up saying this is salmon mineral piping hot and steaming with rice rich aroma of butter, you know? Even right now, Hayama adds on to that by saying that he has sauteed squid liver, boldy, fragrant with a sense of garlic and soy sauce. And Al says it's gleaming mound of glittery salmon roe marinated in soy sauce. We see to it that the judges end up eating Saito Some's dish first, and they end up realizing this is gleaming seafood is riding upon a wave of butter that's about to come crashing down on my tongue, you know? One of the judges explained that the salmon is perfectly cooked, you know, trace amounts of sugar and the flour combines with the butter in a chemical reaction, creating a wonderfully fragrant and perfect manure or something. An ends up saying the butter is gently wrapping the saltiness and pleasant bitterness of the squid liver, and the other judge says he added pomegranate seeds and tombori to the roe he marinated in soy sauce. You know, the three separate flavors are brought together perfectly by the butter. And Anna explains that he used mounds of butter, and yet the flavor doesn't seem heavy due to the fact that he had an important secret in the sushi rice, and that is because of the orange and lemon juice rather than vinegar. We have to it that one of Souma's friends explained if you add a clump of grease such as butter to seafood that's already greasy, the flavor will be too rich. And another one of Souma's friends explained to lighten the greasiness into a more pleasing and palatable flavor, he chose to use the refreshing tang of the oranges, you know? Even Hinako adds on by saying many staple French sauces traditionally use butter and oranges together. He even paid attention to the rice, all to bring out the most in the butter. Hayama explained how he was able to bring out the best of the butter's aroma, but he brought it up to another level. And we see to it that Ishiki also explains it's as though his dish is a samurai who put his entire spirit into his blade and is poised to strike at any moment, you know? And we see to it that like Saito Souma, how he was able to like bring out the level of that butter in the first place, you know? He explains like people believe that the fish makes or breaks the sushi, but that's not the only important factor. The true stars of the dish are the supporting actors in the shadows, the vinegar and salt. Only when they are in perfect balance can the fish, the main ingredient, show its true power. It's not just with sushi. With any dish, the chef must know the best base ingredients and the best way to use them to make the blade known as fish gleam. Which means that all base ingredients within my field wasn't a single blade. Kurokiba explains like no matter how delicious the fish itself might be, depending on how you use the base ingredients, the whole dish could be ruined. And Hayama also explains by saying, where the hell does his obsession come from, you know? Ishiki explained like Saito Souma himself actually came from a sushi restaurant, and his mother was actually going to go on a training spree, but apparently she was not allowed to touch the kitchen. She was at her limit. And because of that, Saito Souma would later on go through competition to become high in sushi, specializing in sushi and fish, you know, and seafood. But almost at the same level as Kurokiba Ro, but to a couple more levels ahead, you know. And we see too that An explains about how this butter seafood rice bowl has a style dwelling within it, and another guy ends up saying if the fish is his blade, the butter is its sheath, you know. This is essentially swordplay on the dish, and whoever gets struck by it will fall. And we see to it that many of Souma's friends were really surprised to see how he brings out the full potential of the butter, and we see to it that Souma does ask Souma or Saito Souma, why did you join Azami's revolution in the first place? And we get to see to it how he came to join his revolution in the first place is because he wants to protect those who were weak and help those and follow the Bushido rule, you know? And we see to it that Souma says, well, I have the same idealistic views as you, but unfortunately for me, I have a sake of my own ideal cooking world, and I'm going to use this dish to face off against you. And he ends up showing his dish to the judges, and it's Yukihiro style toasted butter pilaf inari sushi. We see to it that like it's dubbed in, it was in abura aged pockets simmering in that pot whatsoever, and then inari sushi has pilaf in them rather than sushi rice. We see to it that like that Nikumi was actually concerned because no matter how much you look at it, the butter pilaf is going to make it very heavy, you know. Even right now, Saito Souma is wondering how just bringing out the butter is not enough for the theme in this match, you know? And we see to it that one of the judges ends up eating the green-haired judge ends up eating the dish and says the butter that's seeped into the aburahagi keeps spreading through my mouth every time I chew, you know? It's like even my mind is being drenched in butter right now. Another judge ends up saying that aburahagi is so juicy and yet the pilaf inside is so delicate. Another one says the flavors don't overwhelm each other. The umami of the ingredients keep flowing like a geyser. And Souma explains like, well, first I sauteed the rice without washing it. That's the key when you're making pilaf. Then I thoroughly rinsed the aburage with hot water to remove the extra oil. But the most important part of my dish is my special mochi white sauce made from soy milk and kuramochi. Conventional white sauce made with flour and butter would overwhelm this dish. There's a rich texture, but it doesn't linger, you know? The light flavor of this mochi white sauce was absolutely essential. And we see to it that Souma also explained then he sprinkled the blend of several cheeses on top of everything and toasted them in the oven. And because of that, An also explains because the saltiness and mellowness are preserved, you know? And we see to it that how Yukihiro Souma was able to do this, and basically he shoved all the tasty things he could think of into this dish and pushed the rich, savory flavors as hard as I could. An explains like some ingredients meld with the butter's richness into mellow deliciousness, and other ingredients have become richer because of the butter, you know? There is an immense amount of work put into every one of these small inari sushi pockets. The mochi white sauce subdues the greasiness, so each of the flavors reach the peak in harmony, you know? And we see to it that one of the judges explained, like, this is a huge contrast with Saito Souma's single heavy strike. This blade is a continuous barrage of flavors. And An explains, like, this is too much for me to keep quiet, and she ends up having some sexiness moans or something. Tell me about it, right? And We see to it that Saito Souma asks Souma, how in the hell did you come up with this idea? And Souma explains how he was going to be in trouble because I knew I can't just beat with a single blade. And we go to see a backstory or flashback of how Souma was able to actually come up with this idea. It's because Mimasaka Subaru decides to become a sandbag for Yukihiro Souma, Takumi Aldini, and Megumi. In order for them to actually gain the advantage against their opponents, he becomes a sandbag, and because he put a lot of perfect trace into it, it's the only thing he can do for the time being. We see to it that, like, one of the judges explained that this cheese blend balances out the dishes with its saltiness, and this idea came from Aldini, must have put together with the Inari sushi. Not to mention, An explains, like, the reason why the dish is so rich but not overwhelming is because it missed Tarakoro Megumi's apple butter. Its refreshing taste cuts back on the greasiness, you know? And we see to it how Souma was able to beat Saito Souma is because he had he had many ideas than Saito Souma. He had, like, unlimited blade works, if you had to say. Like, he ends up having Takumi's ultimate cheese blend, and Hayama's aroma bomb, and Kurokima's shrimp umami, Tadakoro's apple butter, and Yoshino's secret ultra savory masterpiece chicken broth, you know? I spent all this, and we see to it that Saito Souma realizes that Souma broke many blades in order to win, and that he actually took advantage of the team's Shokugeki to his abilities, and all the battles he had, he actually learned it from everyone and put it here, and Toteki backing him up. And he therefore explains to everyone that I'm Toteki Academy's school first year, you know? This is just a result of my training here and there, and Ishiki-senpai mentions in his mind of how Yukihiro Souma went through hell and back and how he's supposed to be strong. And Saito Souma realizes that I thought that the weak should be protected, but Yukihiro doesn't label other chefs as weak or strong. And Yukihiro Souma won unanimously 3-0, you know, and able to beat Saito Souma. So this episode right here shows the entire match of Yukihiro Souma against Saito Souma, and the reason why Yukihiro won is because he had multiple weapons or blades in his hands and was able to use it against Saito Souma, you know? And of course he had Sandbag, which was Mimasaka Subaru, and he was tracing Saito Souma and allowed Souma to, like, try to go head to head against him as best of his ability, you know? So yeah, I know all you guys might be saying, oh, he won because of plot armor, maybe because of that too, but hey, man, I mean, Souma has been training up to this point and used everyone's ideas all together into his cooking, and that's how he was able to win. Like, he had multiple blades to use. Compared to Saito Souma, he only used one blade that he polished up that won't break, but Souma took advantage of, like, using Team Shokugeki and went all the way to win. So, until then, people, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm Alpha Zero. Have a good day. I'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace out. Bye-bye. Toot-toot-toot!